You've said this to yourself before. Later. Later I'll start. Later I'll study. Later I'll change. Later I'll take my life seriously. And every time you say it, it feels reasonable. You tell yourself you just need a little more time, a little more rest, a little more comfort. You convince yourself that you will start, just not today. Tomorrow. Always tomorrow. And somehow that word feels safe. It feels like a promise that lets you relax, a promise that removes the guilt. Because you're not giving up, you're just delaying. At least that's what you believe. Days begin to pass. You wake up with the same intention. Today will be different. Today I'll start. Today I'll become better. But then you reach for your phone. Just 5 minutes, you tell yourself. 5 minutes becomes 30. 30 becomes an hour. And suddenly half your day is gone and you haven't started anything. You feel it, that quiet discomfort. But again, you calm yourself down. It's okay. I still have time. I'll start later. And there it is again. Later. Such a small word with such a powerful cost. You see other people moving forward. You see them improving. You see them becoming stronger, more disciplined, more focused. And deep down, you know, you could be one of them. You know you have potential. You know you have dreams. You know there's a version of you that is capable of so much more than this. But there's always something stopping you. You never start. Not because you're stupid, not because you're incapable, not because you don't have opportunities, but because you keep waiting. Waiting for the right moment, waiting for the right feeling, waiting for the right version of yourself. But the truth is simple. The perfect moment never comes. And slowly, quietly, without you even noticing, your life begins to repeat itself. Wake up, scroll, delay, promise, repeat. Over and over again. You start getting used to it, used to waiting, used to delaying, used to staying exactly where you are. And the most dangerous part, it starts to feel normal. Normal to postpone your dreams, normal to ignore your potential, normal to stay stuck in a life you know you were meant to outgrow. And little by little, without pain, without warning, you begin to lose the one thing you can never get back. Your time. Time never stops. It doesn't care if you're ready. It doesn't care if you're afraid. It doesn't care if you still need more time to figure things out. It keeps moving. Every second that passes is a second you will never see again. But the danger is you don't feel it happening. There's no alarm, no sudden collapse, no clear sign that you're falling behind. Just ordinary days. Days that feel safe, days that feel comfortable, days that don't seem dangerous at all. You tell yourself, I still have time. And that sentence becomes your greatest trap. Because you believe you have time, you never feel urgency. Morning comes and you think you'll start in the afternoon. Afternoon comes and you feel tired. You tell yourself you'll start tonight. Night comes and you say, it's okay, I'll start tomorrow. And tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. Next month becomes next year. And without realizing it, you become someone who always waits. Not once, not twice, but every single day. And deep inside, you know it. You know there are things you should be doing. You know there's a life you're capable of building. You know you can be more disciplined, more focused, more in control. But every time you're about to begin, there's a voice in your head, a quiet voice, later. It sounds gentle, it sounds harmless, it sounds like it's protecting you. And you listen, not because you're weak, but because you're human. Comfort feels good. Distraction feels easy. Avoiding effort feels safe. You can't fail at something you never start. You can't feel pain if you never try. But there's something you don't realize. Every time you choose comfort, you choose to stay the same, while the world keeps moving. Someone else starts today. Someone else tries today. Someone else fails today. Someone else learns today.
Someone else grows today. Not because they're better than you, but because they didn't wait. They didn't wait for motivation. They didn't wait for confidence. They didn't wait for certainty. They simply started. And you're still standing at the beginning, still thinking, still waiting, still hoping. And the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to move. Because procrastination isn't just a habit, it's a prison, one that feels comfortable while it slowly steals your future.
There comes a moment in everyone's life, a quiet moment. No distractions, no noise, no scrolling, no escape. Just you and your thoughts. And in that moment, you realize something. You were meant for more. More than this routine, more than this version of yourself, more than this cycle of waiting and delaying and hoping things will somehow change on their own. You see it clearly. The version of you that wakes up with purpose, the version of you that moves without hesitation, the version of you that doesn't negotiate with excuses, the version of you that takes control. And for a moment, it feels real. You feel the energy, you feel the possibility, you feel the future calling you forward. But then, the next day arrives, and the feeling fades. Not because the dream disappeared, but because comfort returned. That familiar voice comes back. Rest a little longer. You can start later. You still have time. And without realizing it, you step back into the same pattern. Not because you don't care, but because you never trained yourself to act when it's uncomfortable. Here's the truth most people never accept. You will never feel fully ready. You will never feel fully confident. You will never feel fully prepared. And if you wait until you do, you will wait forever. Because readiness doesn't come before action, it comes after it. Motivation doesn't create action. Action creates motivation. The first step always feels heavy. It always feels unnatural. It always feels uncomfortable. But that discomfort isn't your enemy. It's proof that you're changing. It's proof that you're leaving behind the version of yourself that stayed stuck. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. A version of you that didn't wait, a version of you that didn't hesitate, a version of you that acted even when it was hard, a version of you that built discipline, built strength, built control. That version of you exists, but only if you stop waiting, only if you stop lying to yourself, only if you decide to begin.
Everything changes the moment you make one decision. Not a huge decision, not a perfect decision, just a simple one. The decision to stop waiting. Right now, you have two choices. You can do what you've always done. You can tell yourself later. You can scroll. You can delay. You can promise yourself you'll change someday. And your life will stay exactly the same. Not worse, but never better. Or you can do something different, something small, something uncomfortable, something real. Because every person you admire started exactly where you are. They felt fear, they felt doubt, they felt resistance, but they made a choice. They stopped waiting for motivation. They stopped waiting for confidence. They stopped waiting for permission. They started before they were ready. And slowly, everything changed. Not in one day, not in 1 week, but through small actions repeated every single day. Now imagine what would happen if you did the same. Imagine if today you began. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. One small action, one small step, one small moment of courage. Maybe nothing changes immediately. Maybe no one notices. But something inside you will shift. You will no longer be the person who only dreams. You will become the person who acts. And the more you act, the stronger you become. The more you move, the less fear controls you. The more you begin, the easier it becomes. Until one day, you look back and you realize your life changed the moment you stopped saying later and started saying now.